Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Zwift Community Live broadcast of the WTRL Team Time Trial 101 out on the Greater London 8 for one lap, 24 kilometers. I'm Nathan Guerra, Dave Towle next to me, Zwift Community Live here coming at you. And we are on a course that's going to be fast, I think, Dave. Very short course compared to what we've seen last week, obviously with the 42-kilometer race last week. Usually we're in the 30s or so. And so I think the riders, they're going to be able to just throw everything down. I think we see some really, really fast times. And but at the same time, there's this hill right in the middle of everything. But it's only going to be, for the full-on efforts, you're only looking at 6-7 minutes in the middle of it all, and then it's a crazy downhill. So, it does put a little bit of time in the middle of it, but I'm not sure it interrupts it quite as much as maybe the anticipation's coming into it.
I agree. Boy, this really is night and day from last week, isn't it? I mean, a lot of teams, as we look at the full spectrum of races out there, we're out for much over an hour. Now, today, there's going to be teams that are finishing close to half an hour, 24.3 kilometers. But Nathan, you're right. That's hopefully it's about a 6-minute effort. If it is, you're probably going to win out there today. But you're looking at more than 200 meters or 600 feet in old money of climbing right there. It really comes at you around 16 to 20K in on the course. And it's going to be make or break there for sure. And Nathan, those teams that can carry an extra engine with them over the top, you're right, you will be hauling down to the finish line. That's the wattage express on the way, coming in hot, that's for sure. So it's going to be really, really fun. I think this is some old school fury that we've got out here. Last week was all about the endurance athletes, and some of the teams were insanely strong at the end of the race. But this time it's going to be about getting after a very fast schedule.
Very fast schedule. And the reality of this course also is that up front, very, very flat. They do the usual Greater London lower slopes, and then they're going to head on over to the Surrey Hills, and then Box Hill right in front of them. Very sharp all the way to the top. And then from there, there's not a whole lot left. I'm looking at it, the very peak, 19.5 kilometers in, and then all you got is to the finish line. At that point, you're only looking about 5 kilometers out. Now, a lot of time can be gained on the back end of Box Hill on that downhill. Whether or not you know how to rotate well on a downhill, I've seen the difference of 10 kilometers per hour between those that actually work on that downhill and those who just rest. I think a lot of punching, knowing how to use the super tuck through, it's going to have a big difference on that downhill, I think, for a lot of these teams out here. Now, we will be covering today. Go ahead, Dave.
I was just going to say, Nathan, it's interesting because when you look at those speeds, right, it is so hard to make back time when the team that you're chasing, if you're going 80 kilometers per hour, if they're going 79, you're not eking back. You're getting back a second every minute, basically, right? And that's not enough time, really. So what's going to happen on that sector from 16K to 19 and a half, that's where you set the table, but you've got to finish the job. You're right. This is going to be awesome. No doubt about it. I'm so happy that we're back. It was cool to celebrate number 100. Congratulations again to everybody who's been a part of the success of WTRL, but I know we've got some racing to jump right into because this one's going to be Donnybrook.
Yeah, we're going to jump right on in here. We are in with R3R. We'll start bringing in some of the time splits as soon as we do get those up and running. We'll be in with the Doppio and the Espressos out here today amongst the men's crew. In with the women, we'll be in with the Vienna Espressos as well as the Vienna with a couple of features out there today. We really want to thank all the teams that have been responding. A quick little heads up to those that are out there. Watch out for your emails. If you do get an invite to the Platinum League, look at some new verbiage, some new communications going out. We are looking for team features each and every week. So be on the watch out. If your specific class is on the feature, you may be able to jump in here and let us know all about you. And that's what ZCL is all about. Zwift Community Live, bringing in the community to the world of Zwift racing. Let us know those who are behind the avatar and what is powering them. Now, R3R, very well-known team, obviously, out here. They're all in the World Bicycle Relief kits. The R3R kit here, hammering away. Solid 47 kilometers per hour. Now, through this section, 47, 48, good speed to be holding. A lot of times, I'm always surprised through this section, of course, as I've raced it many, many times in a TTT, how difficult it is to get up to that 50 kilometer per hour mark that you're looking for a lot to win the Espresso and Doppios.
Yeah, that's a good number though. That threshold of if you can go any faster than that as a unit, you are world class, and they're pushing right up on it here. It's a little bit rolly. It's not perfectly flat. There is a sector that comes up where you've got a nice run of almost completely flat from about 4K to, let's call it, 10K there. It's a little lumpy though in London here. Yeah, R3R has been one of these teams, Nathan, that a legacy squad is a good way to put it, and a team that certainly knows their way around the team time trial. This is a course as well. We'll have a chance, I think. I know a lot has been going on, but course records out here. I'm always surprised when it's the first time that we've raced out on a course, Nathan, just because we've hit, 101 WTRLs right now. So we have been just about everywhere that makes sense with the team time trial. They've done them up Alp to Zwift. Oh, there you go. Ask and ye shall receive. So Vienna Espresso didn't exist the last time we were out here racing, but you get a good feel for what the Vienna Frappes did, and BRT Hell Kittens right in their backyard with a 47-41. But yeah, we were talking about half an hour of racing. It is probably going to be, under 32 minutes out here today for teams like Evo Warriors and the Doppio, excuse me, 32:18 their time there. And let's see here, as you kind of look across the board here, it all stacks up. The fastest Vienna time, LFR ladies with a 45:50.
Yeah, and it does look like for the Doppio, Evo Warriors, I think early this morning with that 32:18. Dirk Diggler there,
Okay,
33:06. Frappe is
that was
very
today.
close between them. Yeah, very, very close. So we'll see how this plays out. Now, that new course record, what I want to talk about a little bit here in the Vienna Espresso is there's going to be a battle on our hands, I think, because there has been this back and forth between WRT and and the reality of the choppers. We've got the team with
Sucks for
I Race Like a
Watts.
Girl, Sox Watts WRT. Just this back and forth battle, and the WRT Sox Watts WRT have been pulling it off each and every time, but it's come down to these just a few seconds over and over again, even in the time splits. And then somehow Sox Watts WRT are able to come over the top at the end of the race a lot of times and get that distance. But I wonder if this course is going to open anything up. It's a very, having that gigantic climb right in the middle of it, is it going to be to the advantage of these teams like CryoRDT Vultures in the men's, like WRT Sox for Watts in the women's? These teams that have been dominating, or is it going to maybe open up something a little bit more for these other teams to show off that they've got climbers' legs versus just pure TTT prowess that we've seen from a team like Sox for Watts WRT?
Well, Sisu I Raced Like a Girl was closer than anyone has been and made the most legitimate challenge to beat. And this is all things being fair, Nathan. Full A teams, no excuses out there. They were close. I mean, they had the lead at this last checkpoint out there, and then it kind of, the numbers and the experience of Sox for Watts WRT edition is, again, you wonder why we keep saying WRT. Well, there's a whole bunch of Sox for Watts teams. If you haven't been following along, it's been a real movement. But Nathan, today, that climbing sector is going to be, I mean, that's really the entire conversation here is with Catherine Curie. How does she not blow up the team on that climb? If she can get 4 women with her, now remembering, if you look at the rules out here, we start with a maximum of 8 riders, time taken off of your 4th rider across the line. And for Seesaw Race Like a Girl, they've been just one quality rider short, to tell you the truth, of being right there to actually win and take out a championship here. Sox for Watts, they haven't won every single week, but they've won every single battle that they've contested. I would say they've never showed up and raced with their A team and not won. There have been times when they've had an addition of their squad that didn't have all of their heavy hitters where they haven't won. So to be fair, no, they haven't been perfect, but we haven't seen anything like it, Nathan, in my entire time. Let's call it 20 years of working. Well, either way, I've never seen any team dominate like they have at any level, to tell you the truth. So I guess I'm kind of throwing a little hino in there as well with the ZRL, right, Nathan, where they've now gone 8 for 8 twice. So 16 events, uh, almost half of them, not quite, have been team time trials, and they've never lost. So if you've been a part of that racing, and there's a good 3 or 4 women that are both hino racers and race for Sox for Watts that would have basically almost never lose when they show up and race at the highest end of this platform. And that's incredible. This is cool to see, Nathan. Thanks for finding CryoGen Vultures here today. I'm going to throw it back to you. But this is a team that we have a chance to talk about a little bit more today. I've wondered about the backgrounds, the backstories of these riders. And thank you for bringing them up here. CryoGen Vultures have been a dominant force. Let's dig in a little bit with these guys.
Yeah, Cryogen Vultures, absolutely awesome to see. And they have been an absolutely dominant force. They've been completely on a nonstop winning victory lately here. They kind of are the crossover. If you were going to talk about the domination amongst the women's teams, they have been the dominating team week in and week out lately in the Doppio class amongst the men's. We are in, it looks like, with the New Zealander here. This is going to be Osted hammering away. It looks like he just got done taking his turn. They're just getting out on course here. 56 kilometers per hour, 55 kilometers per hour, as you can see, at the front end of a team like this with Martins here. 412 watts, as you can see, pulling at that 53 or so. Maybe, and now I think this is going to be the end of his pull here. 9 watts per kilogram. You're going to need 7 watts per kilogram on a team like this to take down the kind of times that they do.
Yeah, let's go back to set this table for you here. This team has been winning at a ferocious pace out here, and you can see why. Look at them rolling as a squad. I want to go back, Nathan. You started with Mark Bosted there. He's a professional triathlete. Did it for almost a decade there, out of New Zealand, but Ironman distance, relatively new to the world of Zwift, but he had so much in real life experience that, talk about a steep learning curve. He was up and running almost immediately and super well respected by his teammates. He met his wife in Boulder, Colorado, and I want to send our thoughts out to everybody in Boulder. What a crazy week it has been there. So I know a lot of Zwifters are there in town. So thoughts with you. But so that's Mark, and that's certainly, Boulder's one of those kind of towns, Nathan, that brings the best of the world in endurance athletes. And then this is going to be a fun guy. Martin Mertens here. So he's the road captain. He gives all the calls. So he not only races, but he directs the squad from his cockpit. Definitely, if you look at his background, a climbing rider, certainly. He's been involved in more than 30 efforts out here. Looks like he just finishes up a pull there, but is the 4th-ranked rider in Germany right now. I think that's where our world champion is out of Germany. That's nothing but heavy hitters to be the 4th-ranked rider out of that country. And that's an in-house look. That's Mertens that we're looking at right now. So
Yeah.
we can keep going,
Nathan. Martin Mertens. I mean, there's tons of them. And I actually think there may be a brother here as well. We do have Martin as well as Robert Mertens. I think there may be a relationship here going on between the two because it's two of the Mertens names here. Let's see if we can find them both to try and get some features for them. But I do believe
you're correct.
Are you seeing that?
100% right. Nope, you got it. Their entire family Zwifts, Nathan. Dad, mom, if you found the brother right there, their girlfriend is racing right now. She'll be out there today with the CryoGen Storks, if I remember, in the Frappes. That's right. There it is. So definitely, he's part of our one-man marketing team there in Germany. Literally got the entire family signed up. We love that, and certainly it's one of those things, Nathan. We had some feedback last week with riders that we featured, and I'll remember the garage that had all of the bikes in it. Well, we were correct. Everybody in that family was all over it. And after the broadcast, I don't know if you saw that or not, but after the broadcast, the kids were so proud of mom that they were like, "Mom, we want a Zwift now."
That's absolutely awesome. All in the family. And that's always the best to see is when, especially, and we get that a lot, to be honest, when
That's
we
great.
do have these
Yeah.
features and they see mom and dad on TV, they're like, well, why aren't we doing this? In this new
Well, aren't you
generation.
dealing with that at your
Oh, my
house?
kids,
Don't you?
100%. My kids are like,
Yeah.
well, how many views you got, Dad? Well, how many, my kid, how many subscribers, Dad? Well, the guy I watch, Dad, some Minecraft or whatever, doing this or that with 10 million views on his whatever kind of show that's putting on. I mean, it's pretty awesome to see how the gaming culture that you find amongst this community can be found amongst the families, if you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
we have this whole cycling culture, but then the youngins come in and they go, hey, look, you're in a video game and you're featured like my friend that I'm watching, or this person I'm watching, and then they want to get involved. It's so awesome to see. And that's exactly what I got going on in my house as well. The moment that they start seeing Zwift on the screen, they're like, oh, that's just like what I'm doing. And it's a good way to get them motivated on the bikes, which is always, new generation is what we need. That's for sure.
Isn't that the truth? When you think about it, what better example to give to your kids, right? I mean, that's a real proud moment where they see you being dedicated and being consistent. So this CrowdGen team, getting back to it, Nathan, they're 5K in, so it's going to be really flat through this sector. But this is where you just want to keep as much charge on the battery as you can, because you're not going to get to plug back in for a while there. Once you hit 16K in, that next 3Ks you hit on at the start of the show, it's going to be a 6-minute effort for the fastest teams out here, where you are all in it, all just completely groveling in the gutter out there. So we're going back now with the team captain, Martin Mertens there. So being captain of Vultures has been a big deal, as this team has done extremely well. He's an engineer. I thought that was a cool job as well. And I think that an engineer's mind is really good for a director of a team time trial. You're not looking at emotions. There's not a whole lot of feel good feedback. It's really more about just you. Your number is 2. When we tell you to get to the front, do 500 watts for 30 seconds, and then just get off and recover. No more conversation needed, right? So you see that South African flag there, Nathan? That's Aaron Burrill. Aaron is a absolute monster, TT and stage race specialist in the racing that he does. His in real life experience, he's a mountain bike racer. You can relate. He's done Cape Epic 2 times. Maybe you guys could do it together, Nathan. That would
That
be
sounds
one of
good to
life.
me. We need a Zwift team back out at the Cape Epic. We're looking at Kohler here now, though, hammering away at the front and flying,
Felix.
just taking his pole, killing it. Felix, 500 plus watts or so. Look at the focus on the face to make sure. Now, it's interesting to me, now this team, being one of the top teams here, the way that they're rolling through, and we've had a change up in the drafting dynamics recently. My team last week completely imploded about halfway through the race, trying to figure out exactly what's going on. And it looks like the way that they're riding this is not necessarily 0 to the back. And I'm wondering if that has something to do with the new way in which that they are interacting with the drafting dynamics, or if this is just the way that this team rides, just high watts all the way through.
I think both, to tell you the truth, Nathan, because this is a team that you would see in that the straight as an arrow formation, right? I think that you're right. So I'm not able to personally experience what it's like to go 49K in a group like this to understand exactly, but the physics of the game is what Nathan is talking about. That so there are these updates that happen, as any game will have, and about by monthly, a little more than monthly. But this one was big as far as what we do here, and I think that I guess I would say struggle, because change, you have to adapt and figure out the nuances of the new system, and it takes a little while. Some people are quicker than others to adjust and adapt, right? But I have a feeling, Nathan, that they're kind of getting a feel for that. But still, when you have 8 monsters, they roll at, I mean, look at this now, 52K on this false downhill.
Look at the effort from Cohen here. Oh my goodness, dude.
Wow.
Up and out of the saddle, just demolishing himself on that stage. Is like 475 watts here, 172. And you can see on these flatter sections, pulling 50 as hard as you possibly can is going to be the goal. Now, Cryogens, they came in at 811 so far for the gulls. And so that is going to be who we're looking at here, the Cryogen. And what are they going to be able to pull off, though, up
RJ.
against Innovation Alien Express, the Rebels? Interesting to see here. This is quite the battle. Chevy Chasers at that 802. The 747 from Kirchner Express, though, is the time to beat so far.
Let me just leave you with this as we dig in on some real data. His nickname is the Zombie, Nathan, a runner. And you can
Well,
see
I can see exactly where he's getting that from. Now
So-
we've got the power behind the avatar. We can see where it's coming from. Is the zombie hammering away, and the look on the face, even they're coming on through. I mean, those kind of watts will deaden your eyes, that's for sure.
And just like Michael Woods at Virtual Tour de France this summer, where you could see he was up out of the saddle, and I get the feeling when it really gets rough, if you took a giant monster of a man, a 220-pound guy, put him on this bike and said, turn these pedals over, he would have trouble getting them started right now. That's how much resistance there is that these guys are absolutely battling through. They're gladiators. So this then, I want to look Chevy Chasers with the fastest time. It's a 15:51, as you noted, Nathan, only 1 second back to the INC Rebels, and it is tight. We've got 5 seconds separating our top 3 teams. Now, remember that if they've hit that point, they are getting close to the beginning of that make or break sector that we were talking about, where there's well over 200 meters of climbing that come at you in a 6-minute period there. It's full on at that point. And then you've got to carry up over the top and keep your speed and just hightail it like you've just bearing it on the way to the finish line. Having 8 riders right now, this is strong. The Vultures were still waiting for a time. Good to have World Rowing back. So impressive by World Rowing ICC. They're going to be right up there. This course suits them well today as well. It's not really that hard of a challenge as far as mentally breaking this course down. It really is going to come down to I think that Nathan, the teams that go up and over the top of the Crux, that climb there, that have more than 6 riders, if you're within 10 seconds of each other, that extra rider is going to be worth 10 seconds at the finish.
Jumping in with the Euro Aliens here, Innovation now coming out of New Zealand. This is going to be James Barnesy, well known amongst the community, one of the streamers out there as well. Barnesy hammering away. He was almost able to make one of the finalists in the Movistar, just I think nipped out of being a part of the team for the esports team here, but he is one of the leaders amongst this team here. Innovation here, hammering away, as you can see. I believe we're going to have to jump on over to the Dopios, actually, as we were looking at the Espressos currently, and get some of these times here. We're looking in Z Sun Red Giants, Innovation Alien Monsters. We're looking at Vision Atom, as well as the Cryogen RDT Vultures at that 750. These are the times now that we should have been looking at for the features that we have out here, so apologies on that. And it is going to be the Euro Aliens with the 757 right up against our other feature, which is the RTD Vultures here. This is going to be a great battle to watch with the live images out here, Dave. 750, 757, 7-second difference between these two teams.
Wow. Awesome. Hey, I just got word that World Rowing did not start. They scratched the race today. So that's noteworthy there as they come in as one of the favored teams. Now, we're looking at Barney here. This is a rider out of New Zealand. He also has done the Cape Alps, Cape Epic there in South Africa 2 times in his career. Definitely only 30 years old, but has a tremendous, like he was with you early in the Jarvis days. So there we go, jumping around. This is going to be a fun rider, no doubt. When you look at it, a lot of in real life experience here for Angelo Di Veroli. He's known as the Italian Stallion, but Israel national champion in the Cat 1s a few times in his career. A lot of experience racing down there in Israel, where they love their endurance sports. Has also done the Cape Epic. That seems like these guys must have all met at the Cape Epic, Nathan. But they're a great crew when you talk about INC Innovation. That's Angelo that we're with right now. And let's see if we got a split, not waiting for that second split from them. That 757 had them right in the mix there, didn't it? 752 from Z-Sun, I think, was the quickest at that point. And you can see now the Red Giants from Z-Sun are with a 1524. That puts them 12 seconds in front of the So this is the INC Alien Monsters that we're talking about right here. INC has the Euro Aliens as well. That's Angelo's team that we're in with right now, but we're still waiting for their time, Nathan, from the second check.
A lot of suffering you could see from Angelo just a moment ago. Now getting a little bit of reprieve, but you could see it as he took his pull on the front there, just suffering to hang on and then going to the back of the pack. There's this rotation of suffering that goes on in just the expressions of the riders that you can see. As it really is. I mean, it's this full on pressure. The veins start popping, and then you're like, okay, I can relax just for a little bit, but just hang on, make sure you don't get dropped, and then again and again. But then eventually it kind of comes to this point where it's like nothing but suffering all the way through to like that last 10 minutes or so, because you kind of hit your maximum of what you can handle at that point. And or you just fall off and get popped. I mean, and it's game over. But now Anelli to the front here, as you can see from the innovation. Real Guts Racing also in there. Looks like maybe a crossover. Maybe visiting on the team out here today. But 1529, them and the Red Giants battling it out here. Very close so far today, but Cryo DT still to come through.
So the story there, Nico started Real Guts Racing. It's Twitch, and I know you love some Twitch, right, Nathan? To raise awareness and proving it's possible to compete with Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. So this is a big deal. It's extremely cool to see what Nico Anelli is doing out here. So when you hear Real Guts Racing, it actually literally is talking about your guts. And some people have really, really been impressive when you look at being out here and dealing with that. And it's really cool. A Scottish person. You don't need to add person. I think everybody got that. But he's Scottish.
Scottish rider.
He's a Scottish person. I was just telling my dad the other day, we work with a lot of Scottish people, don't we? And I was telling him that it's absolutely a joy, the sense of humor and the take that Scots have on the world is very enjoyable to be around. So, all right, back in now again with INC. Well, we're going back and forth. It looks like this is INC Euro Aliens that we're looking at. They've got all 8, do they? Actually, it's 7 riders. No, it is 8. Good for them. All 8 riders together here, halfway through, more than halfway. Today we're looking at 24.3 kilometers, just a little over 24, with 276 meters of climbing. But so much of that comes at you in that one big chunk there. And they're just about to start that here. The team that we're looking at, the Euro Aliens.
Matthias Petri coming on through here. And this rider, I'm seeing Masters level. It looks like 30 years old, out of Germany. He's riding bikes since he was 18, but a long break between the ages of 19 and 28. He's been working the last 2.5 years on a hard comeback, training most of the time at night, 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. He's on the Nathan Guerra timeline for training there. He says he's the fastest firefighter from Germany 2020 on the road bike. So that's pretty cool to hear. Your day job as a firefighter, and it sounds like the night job is hammering away. He might even be at the firehouse hammering away at times too on the on Zwift. And now they're going to be starting Box Hill. This is going to be the moment of truth, I think, is how they climb this climb and whether or not they can pull a solid 5.5 to 6 watts per kilogram all the way up and over the top, because you lose so much time on the climbs is the reality. The bike decisions too are very interesting. We do see a lot of riders here trusting that the speeds are going to stay high. It does look like Anelli is falling off 5.7. I'm not sure he's going to be able to hang on at this point. Barnesy now to the front. Romarek there as well, 7.4 now. The French rider, 6.2. Now, Dave, speaking of speed is where the draft is actually found. Depending on how fast the avatars are moving is whether or not the bike finds the draft that is in front of them. Well, it has more to do with speed, the CDA, than it necessarily has to do with how well the bike might do on a climb. If you can have speed on a climb, it might be better to be on the Venge with the 858s, just because if this team can hold 26 kilometers per hour, they might get a better draft even though they're on a heavier bike, which is interesting the way that works with the game dynamics.
Fascinating dynamic, and always something to pay attention to. And that's Going to be the difference out here today, I'm going to say. So we're in with the Euro aliens here, Nathan. You can see that, I mean, it's impressive to think that they're on a 4% grade and they're still moving at over 30K per hour, but there is a split happening right now. It's a small gap, and it is being welded back together in front of our eyes as they make connection again. So that was neither here nor there. You just don't want that to be the story of the rest of the race. Now, you get down to the reality of, again, so we're engaged in battle at this point, locked and loaded here. It's going to be over 6 minutes of this. I mean, over 5 watts per kilo for sure. Touching on 6, to tell you the truth, Nathan. If you want to win, you're going to have to go at this pace or better.
Yeah, 100%. And Barnesy here now pushing the pace for the team. As you can see here, that's what it looks like to be hammering away 6.1 watts per kilogram, 181 beats per minute currently coming from this rider up and out of the saddle. And, when it comes down to it, if you are the strongest rider on a climb like this, on this gradient, if you can just pull the team up and over the top at your set pace and others can sit in, that might be the best way to go, because some riders are just going to be stuck at 5.5 and that's all they got to give. It really does come down to what is your ability throughout the entirety of this climb, because you're not going to get a whole lot out of the draft, just enough to hang on maybe from a rider that can hold 6 to the top. You can actually hear some of the orders that are coming through from Cryo RDT, I think, in the background, who are also in one of our video conferences here to bring in their images in. A little bit of directions going on from the captains.
So this is it. This is the essence of the team time trial here, especially when you look. So this is Barnes, the New Zealander, the 30-year-old that we're in with now. The real issue here is what's the fastest speed that we can maintain as a group. And Nathan, you are 100% right what you're saying there. For the riders that are barely hanging on, it's not like, hey, save it up and come through and take a pull when you can. It's like, just hang on to the wheel. We're not expecting you to pull. Just stay in the slipstream here. And that is a big ask for a rider that already has their heart up in the throat. Let's take a look at these split times. These are going to be very important here, and it is quite a ride that the Red Giants, living up to their name, Zson are 24:46 there at that check, Nathan. The third and final check that we'll have before the finish, no pins, R3R. We were in with them early, 25:19. They're in at the second fastest time, but you can see only 6 seconds behind them is the INC Alien Monsters. That's going to be a real battle as it looks right now, Nathan, because you're basically up and over the top of the climb at that point when you talk about Zson. But remember that we've got a couple teams to wait for, including the Vultures, and that team, absolute stone cold killers out there. 15:19 was their time at the previous check, so they were 5 seconds faster than Zson. And On the Rivet Blur comes in with a 25:14, so they're going to slot in second right now there at the final check before the finish.
Going to be interesting to see how this plays out between these two featured teams out here. I really think they are battling it out, but they've got to chase down Zson. That's the reality. I think Priority T, they may be able to come through with something a little bit better, because they did have the best time at that 15:19 at the last checkpoint, but were they able to hang on? And the climb is going to be the question. Was it too much up front? Was it, was there a little bit too many afterburners used up? Will they have the consistency that we are seeing from Barnesy and the rest of the Euro aliens up and over the top here? Now to the front, it's going to be DiViroli now taking over, and I've had to climb with this guy on this specific climb. Dropped me like a bad habit on lap number 8 or 9, I think it was, when we did the PRL 100. He showed up for the KISS 100, not on the Badge Hunter the other week, but it was actually for the KISS 100 that we did the PRL on. And he went full on 6 to 7 watts per kilogram on lap 8, open over the top. This guy knows how to have the kind of continuance that we're seeing from him right now. 4:55 from DiViroli.
You can see, I mean, he's sitting right at 6 watts per kilo right now. What a beast. No doubt about it. Let's take a look. The rest of the guys on the team are responding very well. We're back in now with Cryogen here. So, yeah, this is another one of the teams that have established themselves as the heroes and the gladiators in WTRL. This kit strikes fear in the heart of esports racers all over. Let's see here. 24:30 is in. So Euro Aliens with a new fast time, Nathan, and that is 16 seconds quicker than the Red Giants from Zson are. This is one of the teams, the Vultures, that we're waiting to see what they are going to post here. Oh, this one's going to be in a real dandy out here today, Nathan. I cannot wait to see how close this is going to be. So we've got now, when you look at it, so with the Euro Aliens in at a 24:30. And I'm looking to see the Vultures time is yet to post here. It's going to be awfully close to that 24:30, Nathan.
Yeah, it is very close. And you do see Kohler here, though, at 5.5. So something a little bit more of a consistency effort, perhaps. The speed is good, 400 watts. Maybe the wattage is going to matter a
Yeah.
little bit more here between them, not so much the watts per kilogram, as Martin's now coming on through at 6.3. Will they pick up speed over the top? They may have lost a little bit there to the Innovation Euro Aliens, though. We'll have to wait and see, but they had 7 seconds. It looks like actually 10 seconds to play with, though, on the front end of the race. Will they be able to have the consistency all the way through here? It's not a whole lot of time left after they come over the crest. It is only going to be about 5 kilometers to the finish line.
It's going to be right there. This is definitely going to be won or lost by less than 10 seconds out here today. This is what the WTRL is all about, and it shows you how hyper competitive this league has become. Remembering that it was only 101 weeks ago exactly that 8 teams lined up, and now we have these epic battles that go on every week. This is a special week of racing, though, and I like what the shorter course brings for sure. I get it, and I fully understand why we use the full spectrum, but this is a big moment now as they start to wind it up. They're going to look for big speed quickly. We've talked about how the name of the game is going to be in that rapid acceleration, as you want to get up to top speed and keep it there. Now, it's not quite flat, is it, at the top? There's a little bit of where you'd think you're going to start going downhill, but it does kick up again for them here. So they're not completely done with the climbing yet.
Not quite yet. No, and you do see Cowan now up and out of the saddle here with the zombie legs.
It's
going to be a one last
zombie
kick here, and they're dropping riders one by one, it looks like, letting them go.
He's up. The
up and
zombie's
out of the saddle,
Nathan.
6 watts per kilogram, 7 watts per kilogram. As you can see, Martin's now taking a little bit of a pull toward the front here, as you can see. But Cowan hanging on. Kohler now coming on through. Good to see. And solid efforts all around. Can he hang on is going to be the question here. They need 4. Kohler, Martins, and Cowan all need to make this happen still, as they've let Boril go. I believe there's a couple of others that still need to just get back on terms right now, and he just does it, hangs on, and that's going to be the 4th rider that's going to be able to pull across the line, and that's what they need, 4 of them, to make it happen out here, Dave.
Yeah, Felix Kohler there, another one of the Germans on this team, living in Switzerland right now. Then you see the Mertens brothers. Okay, they're down to the bare minimum. It's a short course today, 24.3, and a lot of it is downhill. They're touching on 80 kilometers. There it is. They've gone over 80 kilometers per hour. Man, this is where you get that feeling, Nathan, that they've been in the bank. They've got all the money they could get. They got the loot. They're in the car, and now they're hightailing their way to the finish line in London. They want to get off this bike as quickly as they can. It's going to be so close. Let's see what we've got. And the Vultures are 1 second back. 1 second back at the final check.
Man.
This is going to be absolutely insanity out here. Okay, well, this is what we love from the WTRL. We are serving up another special edition here. So, Nathan, when they hear this news, when the teams realize how close they are at that check, they're going to give even a little bit more, squeezing the last watt out of this stone cold watt machine that they are. So 4 riders. I have a feeling that Euro
91 kilometers per hour here, Dave.
Wow.
And these little kicks over and over again are making it happen. Watch Kohler up and out of the saddle now. Going to get up in that 7 watts per kilogram, 8 watts per kilogram. Perfectly timed. They're going to do the speed roll through now, as Martins is doing as well. 8 watts per kilogram, as you can see. And this is all about holding on to the speed that you are able to pull through on that downhill. You want to roll through the team without dropping anybody off, and then get back into the super tuck and use that speed as it comes on through. They're doing a perfect job of it. Martin's through now, as well as his brother Robin, it looks like. And Kohler going to sit in, wait, and then another kick over and over again. You just keep on rotating through. Perfectly done there by CryoRDT.
Yeah, I was going to say, you see the experience there, Nathan. You as someone who know better than anyone. He knows exactly, like a surgeon, right? There was that, I would say, a 2.5 second pause where he allows himself to move back and then gets right back on it and starts making the necessary watts. He could do that blindfolded, I almost would think. That is experience, and that makes a huge difference. We've talked about this team having riders that have been out here for more than 30 times. It is really paying off. They've been minting money out here when you talk about the CryoGen Vultures, but they're in a real battle royale now. It's a 1 second difference at the final check that we're going to have a look at here. So it's going to be just absolute pure ambition is going to win this one. But Nathan, INC, do they have 6 riders? Yes, they do. Ooh
This is
la
them
la.
coming to
That's
the
a
line,
big
coming to the
difference.
line. There it is. That's across the line. What it looked like for the 2
Shattering the
riders
record.
there. Just
Yeah, they
completely
crushed them.
demolishing themselves
Yeah.
across. You can see the 2 riders here just finishing up too early now. Maybe getting their, they probably got their time on screen. They're checking it out, having a little chatter. Congratulations across, most likely, about how it went down. So good to
He looks
see,
like he's
and
in shock.
solid effort all around.
Yeah, that is. I tell you, all the blood has left your body. That's for sure. As you start to just kind of come back to earth after an effort. So Nathan, they shattered the fastest time that we have. It was 32:18, something like that, set earlier today in Zone 2. We haven't. It's been so exciting out here. We haven't even talked about the fact that we've got over 7,000 racers around the globe in 14 different time zones. It's unbelievable what's happening with the WTRL. That's the zombie that we're back in with there on camera. And so 4 riders, that's a big difference now. And it's going to be awfully close. I mean, we're expecting it to be possibly on the same second here. A razor's edge will separate the champion of the Platinum League here. The best 10 teams from last week are invited into the exclusive club and team time trialing here, the Platinum League. This has been one of the most dominant teams in history of WTRL, and they're trying to post another win up. Nathan, they're down to just a few hundred meters of racing remaining here. They know that every second is going to matter. They might have done it. They might have done it. Oh, my goodness.
With only 4 riders, but dropping those last couple off, they knew it was only going to be a couple more poles, and that's all it was going to take to try and take this down. Martin's up and out of the saddle now. Kohler's going to be coming through. It looks like he's going to be the man to be the lead out to the line, up and out of the saddle. What a monster here, Kohler. Flying to the line, 9 watts per kilogram, full on sprinting. Martin's hanging on, 4 to the line. They've been so dominating. Will they be able to pull it off again is going to be the question. 24-30, 24-31 at the last. They were able to take over the Z-Sun Giants over the top. Now they're going to get some rest in, and we'll bring in what the results were in just a little bit here. Now, we are going to jump in with the ladies here in just a moment, everybody. What a battle. It's great to see these features out here, though, Dave. I'm loving what these teams are bringing in for us as far as the live action cameras, because I think that the powering behind the avatars is something that a lot of times when you're watching them out here, it's just, you're watching these pixels on the screen. Well, what does it really look like? Well, that's what it really looks like to do a TTT. Did you see the effort, the pain, and also the commitment to the teams? It's so cool to see. Huge focus.
Yeah, I mean, how incredibly dedicated these athletes are to this craft. It is really, really inspiring. I'd also like to, Nathan, great job on bringing in the teams like the Vultures. And, it really helps a ton to get this information about the riders and help us learn about the people behind the avatar, for sure. So everybody doing a good job out there. And guess what? We're only halfway home. We got the pro women's, all of the women's racing to look forward to. Well, they're all pros in my mind as far as the dedication out here. We see the same thing in all these different levels. You look at the Frappe teams, Nathan. If you want to score this, they might be having the most fun of anybody out here.
I'd have to agree with you there. I'd have to agree with you 100% that these teams that are across the community at every single level, I think, as far as having a lot of fun, let's go ahead and talk to that a little bit, actually, because we do have our poster competition each and every week, and we absolutely love what everybody's having fun with. A lot of it, a lot of, I think, even in community jokes as well as in team jokes are had a lot of times, but we love the heartstrings that are pulled as well. And Dave, it looked like your selection out here today, you seem to really like the Dirty Chronicle. It's like it's your weekly read.
I know, they're good.
It seems like.
I have a feeling that these guys are professionals in this world of graphic design or creativity. But yeah, here you go. Pete and Stuart are back. The Blues Digglers. I just somehow it just struck me as the right
How
play
could
to
you
see.
not pick this? I will see now.
Yeah, I just think it's awesome.
Dave was the first to go on like which was your pick, so he got the first dibs. And this one is absolutely awesome. Loving it, loving it. But
Yeah,
having kids and growing up as a kid in the '80s, I just could
I get your
not.
choice.
I just could
Sure.
not bring in the Count. And the Count was actually my favorite. He was absolutely my favorite. So Greater London 123. Today's number has been brought to you by TFC Hawk team members. The number 8 for the Greater London 8. Great job out there.
So
Absolutely loving
Nathan,
it. Yeah.
I want to add that so we have an international audience, obviously, and so things like Colin the Caterpillar, remember that cake from England that we had never heard of until this? Well,
Yeah, is
I
that
don't
like
know.
the Count? Is
We
that
had
like
no idea
Sesame
what
Street?
Colin was.
No, I had no idea.
Right.
Well,
But
do they
right.
not know what Sesame Street is around the
I
world
don't
though? I mean, come on.
so obviously well to watch you don't have to speak English to watch the broadcast, but
Well, they
most
have
people do
Sesame
speak.
Street across. They have Sesame
I
Street
don't
from
know if
in
they
other
do.
languages. They have Sesame Street
Do they?
Spain. They have Sesame Street like Mexico,
I get
Mexican
that they
like
have
them.
Spanish language, but do they have one that's like
They have
they're in
like their own. No,
Madrid
they have
version
like their
of
own. Yeah, they
okay.
definitely do. But they might not have the Count like the Count. I'm pretty sure of that. Like they have their own characters even too, from what I could remember.
That would
The
make sense, I
chat
take
is
it.
yelling at us right now about everything that could be. Of course, we've got a lane in here with the TTT together, Live by Cycling, women 50 plus. Awesome to see them. Greater London 8 gold. And this is going to be the selection coming in from Martin. Let us know what your posters are next week. You can post them over in the WTRL Facebook group. We select them each and every week, and we announce the winners after we pick them immediately right before the broadcast when we get into our pre-productions a lot of times. But we appreciate everybody bringing those on in. It's a ton of fun to look through them, and everybody has a lot of fun with them in the community for sure as well. Let's go ahead and jump on in with the ladies, though. We are, for our feature this week, we are in with the Viennas. We will also be featuring the Vienna Espresso. So we'll be back and forth between the Viennas and the Vienna Espresso. So that is going to be the upper echelon, the fastest of the fastest, and then the lower category with the Viennas. Let's go ahead and jump right on in, though. And they have gotten out on course here. We are in with Marlo here and the rest of the RCC women hammering away. Kirsten, this is actually our feature from last week, and they're going to be battling it out with our feature from this week, Dave.
Fearsome, right?
Yeah,
I'm
with
hoping
Fearsome,
it's
exactly.
yeah,
With Fearsome.
excited about that. Really cool group of folks. So yeah, same deal. 24.3 kilometers of racing here, 276 meters of climb. You saw how Box Hill was just absolutely the make or break section of the race. Nice to see a team well put together as this squad is here. Yeah, I would think that our friends Kate and Anna would be impressed by the look and the organization, the vibe from this team. So good job, ladies. You're already one step ahead out there. We got to meet the whole team last week. So we'll start. Oh, first splits coming in. Let's jump right on top of that here. 10:02, so 17 seconds separating the Vikings there from two guys. So that'll be fun to watch.
Came in with the fastest time from last week, it looks like, in their qualification as well. The team that we have featuring, as you can see, they are going to start last, being the fastest team there. Number 11 to go, which means they were the fastest from last week. They're already out on course from what it looks like out here today. The RCC women that we're looking at right here, they were the 4th to go out on course, and they'll be battling it out, it looks like, to try and beat a 10-minute time at that 6K mark.
I guess James Barnes was just down at the London Zwift Constable's office filing a lost legs claim somewhere on Box Hill. He says he lost them. So he said if any of the women out there see them to let him know, he'll go pick them up.
Loving it.
Did you
Barnesy,
see that
always
comment?
lots of fun. Always lots of fun, Barnesy. And the Innovation Aliens, what a great, Euro Aliens, a great addition to the reality.
We're still waiting on that
Zwift
result.
Racing. Yeah, we'll bring in the results in here in just a moment. We're leaving you guys for some suspense, a little bit of suspense out there to make sure that you, wait till the, well, we'll bring them all in for sure by the end of the broadcast. As soon as they come on through, we will let you know. But definitely want to jump in with the ladies to make sure that we get where their splits are coming through. Again, we'll be looking across Vienna Espresso and Vienna today for this.
I have a new one for that. Would you like a half-cooked pizza right now, or do you wanna wait for the entirely cooked pizza, right? Um, because we wanna make sure we have the results right, and they, takes a minute to let all that data settle, so it's always good to keep the anticipation going. There's a famous American TV ad, Heinz ketchup, and the anticipation is a big part of it. Well, hang in there, we'll find out how it goes. Who knows? I wouldn't I have no hunch. You know what I'm saying, Nathan? I have no idea which way that one's gonna go. Both teams gave nothing but a pure 100% effort out there. Angular momentum in with the 10:13. That's gonna put them in 6 seconds quicker than the Vikings Freya now, so they split 2 guys, and the Vikings they're in with our second fastest time. The teams start in a reverse seed, so the fastest teams will be out on course last. These teams have qualified based on their racing last week. And I did see that 2024 is back, Nathan. They were doing a huge gravel camp. A lot going on right now as racing is kind of kick-starting itself back into life here in North America in real life racing. We have Zwift season 3 to look forward to starting in just a couple of weeks as well. So a lot of excitement about that. So things kind of going on all over the place. But it is nice to welcome back a team that had another one of the top squads that will be giving the Sox for Watts a run for their money out here.
100%. Always great to see the competition at the highest level for sure. Brooke Stryker that we're jumping in here with. Is she on a mountain bike, it looks like? That looks like mountain bike handlebars, if I'm not right. Taking a little a card out from Nathan. It looks like, because I was riding on a mountain bike for quite a while, actually. Great to see. Wonder if that's hooked up direct drive or not, because that would be interesting to see whether or not how many gears she has to work with. If that is a mountain bike she's hammering away, it looks like she's got a lot of torque ability though, because of that flat bar.
Almost
I
like on
actually
a rocker
prefer.
plate. Yeah.
Well, I prefer a flat bar personally when it comes to indoor riding. I really enjoyed having that, and I was able to really get on top of the gear. Now, I didn't have a lot of gears because I was on a 1 by with an 11 by, I don't know, I think I had a 34 in the front, 11, so 36, 30, 11, 34, 11, something like that was what I was running on. So not a lot of torque I could get on top of it, but I definitely felt like the flat bar helped me out a little bit on the indoor trainer when it came to finding my back and forth rhythm here. As you see Brooke here doing exactly that a little bit to get back on terms at the back of the pack here. Looks like toward the front, it is going to be McQueen, though, taking over.
Well, and Brooke is a hero. She's a mom, 2 daughters out there, 6 and 8 years old. So she's not only a fantastic mom and does all of the Girl Scout stuff, but she's a role model for kids, I have to say. I'm super impressed as she is getting ready to get into law school, making that happen here. 41 years old. I mean, look at what she has on her plate, and this is how she just crushes it out here with the team. So, Brooke, you are incredible. And so you can see, she was a triathlete, right? So not, I don't see her talking about being a mountain bike racer, Nathan, but she should. She should get out there and should give it a go. Actually, you know what? I'm I should take that back. She should keep doing exactly what she is doing because you know what I mean? It's like,
Dave's
look,
giving
she's got enough
suggestions now.
around.
What kind of
Yeah.
racing everybody should do out there? But I
No, I'm
mean,
just saying she would be
I'd
great at
100%
it, is
invite
what
her
I
to a
meant.
mountain
Yeah.
bike race if she wants to do
Yeah.
it. But a lot of times the triathlete, I actually got a triathlete buddy of mine to jump out onto the mountain
Xterra.
bike once. It didn't go well. It didn't go well
Yeah.
at all. It was like, I'm done. I don't ever want to do that again, is what he said. But not saying you can't cross over at all. Some people might love it, but we'll have to wait and see. That did look like a mountain bike, though. Now we are looking at this is going to be McQueen here hammering away. She is a strong rider here, from what you can see.
Well,
This
she is a
gonna be
mountain
Emily
biker.
McQueen. Is about definitely
Yeah.
a sprinter.
Oh,
Loves
yeah.
shirt burst at any of any race. Only
No, wait,
properly
she
started a
will
year
rip
ago in the
it
UK
up.
lockdown, it sounds like. So good to see her jumping in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. She is when she's not, she is definitely become a Zwift fanatic, like myself, actually, during lockdown. Just absolutely embraced it. It's been awesome. But she sells so in the United States, we don't have Peugeot cars. Or I mean, if you did, you imported it yourself into the US. Well, I don't know. Nathan, have you ever seen a Peugeot dealership? I haven't, anyways. Um, have you?
No, no, I've never. No,
Right,
I
okay,
have one
good.
at
I
home
was gonna say,
that
if you're
was
like, "Yeah,
given
they're
to
all
me,
over
but
Wisconsin." Yeah. Well,
no.
I had a Peugeot bike when I was a kid, and certainly it's the same Peugeot, but, she works at a Peugeot dealership. They're really popular cars in the United Kingdom and Ireland and France and all over. So I think that's extremely cool because 'cause I'm gonna see if she can get me a discount on one. I think that'd be cool to be the only guy in Fort Collins with a Peugeot car. It'd be probably really a pain in the neck to get it worked on, though.
Also, something else here. Talk about being a part of the Zwift community here, Emily. Her brother's on the Canyon Development Zwift team. Actually, he's heavily influenced her cycling over the past year. Got her to join a team in the first place. So the whole idea of
Good on
all
him.
in the family. I mean, talk
Love it.
about the whole idea of word of mouth. And we've been talking about the kids getting involved, brothers and sisters getting involved. We just saw the Martins brothers. They're coming out of Germany as well. I mean, I just absolutely love
Well,
the Zwift family, literally, that is now extending. It's like we're this gigantic extended family hammering away week on week in this TTT.
I love it too. And I think part of that would be not everybody has access to a smart trainer right now. So you could see where if your brother got one, that might be an opportunity for you to give it a try and then fall in love with it. It would make sense to me. It's an easy story to sell, I think as more and more smart trainers get out there. I love thinking of that smart trainer that the family has to schedule for. Like, your brother gets it in the morning between 8 and 10, and then you know
I
what I mean?
don't. I mean,
Like,
you might. I mean, you might like the idea of that.
oh, I live alone. I have my own, so I don't have to do.
I live that. So there's just a reality of I don't. Yeah.
When you have to, it's like having a sauna, right? Where you have to throw people out of the sauna or whatever before you can get in. Same thing with the smart trainer. It's in demand, as they say.
I prefer the kids fighting over the Zwift video game rather than the other video games
Heck
themselves.
yeah.
But still, at the same time, there is a reality of like, oh, we need a couple more trainers set up so everybody can Zwift at the same time. But yeah, absolutely loving it that there is that reality. Now, waiting for trainers can be a little bit annoying at times, but I'm loving that it's all in the family here. Now, I am hearing from Zach Lanes. This is a great little comment coming through, and it looks like Emily has a little bit of fandom going on in the broadcast out
Hey,
here
there you
today,
go.
letting us know that he works with Emily at the Peugeot at Peugeot. Great to
See
see.
what he doesn't mention? Nothing about the discount for Dave on a Peugeot, though, Zach.
Well, I don't know. Alana says that there's a Salt and Pepper Mills. Does that count as a discount? I'm not sure what's happening there. Come for discount. Look right there. Zach says, "Come on in. Look, you're gonna
Come
get a
on in. All right.
discount. There it is."
Fantastic. Day made right here. Well, this is the community we're talking about. Nathan, aren't you? I mean, you have to be overjoyed to see here what Zwift Community Live has become. The community part of it is it's tens of thousands of awesome people, all with their own story. And we are really enjoying having a chance to tell different riders' perspective, not just the big guns on Socks for Watch WRT. I love that we give attention to them, Nathan. I think that's really cool. But these are the people. Well, we were talking about Sesame Street, right? Isn't that theme? These are the people of your neighborhood. Or no, that's Mr. Rogers. But either way, these are the people of our community. We were looking with Brooke as she was working out there with this. This is the fearsome team that we have an opportunity to feature. Emily McQueen has been with us, so she must be scheduled as rider 4 here. I think they're pretty sophisticated, Nathan. This wasn't the so most of the teams have a director. I'm not sure that I know right now who does that job, but we'll figure it out. Who is calling the shots behind the scenes here? Do you happen to know, Nathan?
I
That's my
believe
bad. Because
Brooke is well. At least Brooke was
is it Brooke?
the main contact for calling a lot of the shots. It seemed like for organizing things during the race. Not exactly sure though. So do want to jump across here. We'll jump back to our features in just a moment here because we are going to be doing a little bit at the top end as well with the Vienna Espressos. And I'm going to jump across here for Socks for Watts and get an idea of what is going on with some of the Socks for Watts teams as well. You know, especially with the WRT. We'll see if we can jump on in with them in just a moment. We are jumping in with line here at Madsen, though, here. This is going to be in the lattes here. Good to see that other Sox for Watts team here. But Jane Despas actually is going to be the one that's going to help us to get across to the WRT team here. And I just want to put a heads up here because you mentioned this team just a little bit earlier, jumping back into things and setting the time out here today. 2020 was in zone
Wow.
3 with a 35-41, and that's going to have to get chased down. That's reality. April 6th, ZRL season 3 launches. That's no coincidence that 2020 was out here today.
Absolutely not, Nathan. That's impressive. So 35-41. It's interesting because they're absolutely at the caliber of what we're doing here. And that means we've already kind of got a benchmark time. I would even be curious. These teams are probably wondering what their splits look like. Louise Huback, you see the Danish flag right there? This is one of the top athletes in esports today. This is the Great Dane, is fair to say. She is so impressive. Look how Sox for Watts, Nathan. They're going to figure out the new physics of the new dynamics as Emmy Kling coming through here, the Italian, faster than anyone. This team has more in real, well, this team, just forget in real life. This team has more experience doing this right here, WTRL, than any other squad out there. If you look
Yeah,
at
they
minutes
definitely do.
in formation, they got it, right?
Yeah, looking through to see if we can get some times to come on through. Story Racing hammering away at 17:55 in that fourth place. As you can see, 17:39 BRT Atomic Kittens. There's a battle right there a little bit here. 1 second difference between Cinnamon Rolls and Atomic Kittens. And then it's going to be Vixen at the top of the 12-kilometer mark. I'm not sure CCR Race Like a Girl took to the start line today. Angular Power's out there with that 18:44. I did see, I want to give a shout out to Ed Laverick, who was in the just real quickly here, I did see him in the chat a little bit, and I have a feeling that he was jumping in to give a shout out to Team Backpedal, which is interesting to see. I have a feeling that Team Backpedal is a newer team that was in amongst the men's crowd. Looking for new features for next week. I do want to give a shout out to anybody that is out there. Be on the watch out for your emails. If you do qualify for Platinum League, we will be selecting specific classes to feature each and every week, looking for teams in those classes. So be on the watch out for a request specifically for the class if you do qualify next week. Sergeant Good, though, following up with Despas here. Only 4 left. It looks like perhaps this week it is going to be a broken apart WRT. Where is the glue this week for this team? 3 off the back at least. Despas, Good, Sergeant, Huback going to have to glue this back together. 4 left. This is not the usual from Sox for Watts.
We've never seen this before, to tell you the truth. So let's figure out what's going on now. I'm not seeing them. I have a feeling we'll have them back for a minute on this leaderboard here. Choppers with that fastest time. Now, this is a very interesting moment because you can see that 17:11 is the fastest time we have right now, but we are waiting to see Sox for Watts here. It is TFC Vixen with the 17:23, so they right now are that 12 seconds back. So as it stands right now, Choppers with that fastest time at the midpoint. Again, it's only a little over 24K of racing. But the real story here is Sox for Watts. Everybody has a bad day at the office. It's pretty rare that everyone at the office has a bad day on the same day. But let's see what we've got.
Yeah, we're waiting to see if we can get some splits here on the WRT team. Perhaps we do have a new method for registering out there today. It does look like CCI Race Like a Girl just coming in at that 17:22, as you can see there, at a 9:03. Choppers are flying this week, actually. They may be the new top spot again. And it's been a while since we've seen the Choppers at the top. And jumping on in with here, this is going to be them. Bartlett, Cockcroft here, Gossage, they're already up and over the top of, or no, they're about to start their climb, I believe. Yes, they're about to start their climb. This is going to be the moment
Yeah,
of
just
truth
at
for them out
16.
here.
Yeah, so that the climb starts right there at 16K. Let's say they make the hit out at the bottom of Box Hill. So, all right, This is a very, very interesting race that we've got. We might be seeing that the upsetting of the apple cart out here today, Nathan. I'm looking in. So choppers are a team. Again, they kind of come in that legend status. That's more than fair to say. The United Kingdom, basically triathletes, but this is a big, big moment. And once you give them that crack the door open, they're going to kick it in, and all of a sudden we're going to have some big changes going on out here. I'm just kind of switching over here and trying to find exactly which choppers we've got out with us today, because obviously, oh, there we go. So Socks for Watts coming in now with a 16:47. And that's going to be significantly faster than the chopper. That's about what you would expect to see, but seeing choppers quicker than Sisu, that's really, I think if you look at the storyline right now, Nathan, that's the most interesting thing going on is the choppers are coming. They're leveling up out here.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see that the choppers. I wonder if they're going to be able to pull this off because I think there is a reality
So,
out here that, with four riders left, you know, the climb here though, if they do just have the high watts per kilogram all the way to the top, the only point, in my opinion, that the number of riders really matters is going to be the downhill at this point forward is what I'm getting at there. You got about 8K
uh-huh.
to go. The climb match the power. That's really all it comes down to. Watts per kilogram up and over the top. After that, you can have these bursts through, and you can gain some speed from having extra avatars pulling through at a high speed with that super tuck. But then it's really just a run into the finish line, a couple of extra pulls from some riders. That's going to be the only spot that really matters. So if this team can really pull together a climb that's at a solid 5.5 to 6 watts per kilogram, 5 watts per kilogram, and match or beat WRT, especially after we saw some of the WRT ladies drop off, they've got a chance out here today, I think. They've got a lot of time to make up, but it is doable.
Agreed. And you could see that clearly Socks for Watts, Nathan, weren't having their best day. As we're in with Cockcroft right now, this should be a very motivated team. And it looks like it's going to be 4-on-4, doesn't it? As far as, or did some of the WRT riders find their legs again and rejoin the vanguard for that team? Time taken off of the fourth rider's wheel. That's important to remember here. You can see that looks like Socks for Watts now is just on the bottom. They make the turn here and they're on to Box Hill. And yeah, they are
They've
5
gotten it back together
riders
a little bit.
now.
Yeah, Sargent came back. Starmer is there now as well. Hansen, it looks like Colling is here. Now 5'7". This is going to be that addition to the team here. Super climber. This is her wheelhouse, and now she's just going to
Yeah.
set the tempo at the front, and everybody just hang on. I wouldn't be
Yeah, this
surprised if
Italian
she just
climbs.
burns a full match all the way over the top and then says, go ahead to the rest of the engines to just take it to the finish line on the flatter sections. Because if she just buries herself through here, it doesn't matter if she hangs on any longer. As long as everybody hangs on to her wheel to the top and she sets that
Look
high
at this, though.
pace.
Yeah, but look how Huback is like, I can help. You know what I mean? And Hansen, too. These are two of the best riders out there. But you're right, Nathan. Look at this. The Italian is like standing in a shaft of light, climbing like an angel right now. This is really a super athlete. I don't know that there's a better climber, pure climber in esports right now than Colling here. And
Amongst the
she's just going to want
community,
to ease off.
not a whole
Sorry?
lot amongst the community league. No, I think amongst you jump into the top end of the Premier Division. There's definitely some ladies that can challenge this, but this is the cream of the crop when it comes to
She's
climbing.
a front
Only
group,
a
first
couple of
group.
riders,
Yeah.
that can handle this kind of level.
Yeah, like the Kolchinskis and et cetera in that front group of the best climbers, right? That, what, 5, 6 women that make up people, the only humans on Earth that can do this, to be honest. But the problem here is she's a little better off to give a draft to her teammates here. So no point in holding them off right now. This is the subtle, just sort of how you masterclass team time trialing, right?
Yeah, and they're going to have to let go to Sargent, it looks like, here at this point. Not able to hang on. It's not going to be worth waiting at 4.3. They're going to have to continue to challenge the choppers. They are bringing time back on the choppers. The choppers at 143, so they've eaten into about 10 seconds from the start of the climb. I did see it at 153 the moment that they started. Now it is down to 143 and continues to drop as Colleen just smashing this climb here. Now to the front, it's going to be Nikki Bartlett. She does see that time coming down. She pushes 5.4, and these are trades actually. It looks like happening between the choppers rather than just one rider setting the pace at the front. And
And
hey,
this is a
we're in between these two then too, Dave. We've got Seesaw Race Like a Girl. So we've got the top three squads here all battling out on Box Hill right now, watching each other.
I'm not seeing that
Catherine
Catherine
Curry.
Curie is here,
Nope.
right? So it looks like, familiar names, Meredith Kessler, Carly Johan, Rose, and so some new names to me as well. That's going to be the Australian Rose racing with Farzadi. So some new names here on the Seaside Racing a Girl team, but that's going to be one of the hallmarks of the top squads here. Is you can't be reliant on any one rider. It's the depth that makes a strong WTRL team. Without any doubt, it's more than just four strong riders. You're really to be competitive in this league because not everybody can make every week of racing. Not everyone's going to have a great day every week. There's so many factors here that you really need to have that full 8 riders that are strong to be able to be holding any kind of consistency out here. Let's take a look at a 34-41. It's going to be the first 2 teams through that final check there. So WTRL, the drafting dinos, UKD1, 34-41, Vikings Freya with a 34-43. So as we said earlier in the broadcast, the fastest teams on qualifying from last week will be starting last here. So that should be our Socks for Watch WRT team when you look at. So this is going to be Whiteman, Nathan, that we're in with now.
Yeah, Whiteman here. Now we're jumping on in here, and it's going to be Fearsome. They were the fastest in this Vienna. Mochas, this will be just Vienna. And the women's side of things, they just call it Vienna. There is no Mocha at the end of it for the lower category here. 19-15. Sonia Whiteman, great to see her, giving us a thumbs up. Absolutely loving it as she hammers away and leads her team up and over the top. 182 beats per minute currently from the Fearsome rider. They are battling out the Z-Sun Quasars for that second place currently at the 12-kilometer mark, as you can see. And then at 1939 will be the Hereford Triathlon Club Angler Momentum 2008. Live by Cycling Gold are there at 2045. RCC Women 2059. And the Sox Watts Triceratops 2138. A few others up toward the top there, as you can see, just coming in at that 18-kilometer mark. We'll have to wait for this team for their 18-kilometer mark. But interesting. Seated and steady, as you can see from Sonia Whiteman. She is a long time racer and viewer of the broadcast. She's been around this community from. I remember commentating on Whiteman here, I think in the first couple of weeks, actually, of putting the broadcasts on. So it's great to see Sonia still fully committed to the Fearsome crowd.
I mean, she's got great form, doesn't she? When you look at Sonia here, that's just a wattage cottage. Nice job. All business, no doubt about it. Team here about halfway through the real serious section of the climb. Nothing to worry about. This team's doing an incredible job here. Back in now. So this has been a great day of racing. There's no doubt. It's been super cool having the Fearsome team to check in with. This is Brooke Stryker that we're back in. We were talking about Brooke early in the broadcast, the Renaissance woman, so much going on in her life, and here she is with the team. We were with Emily McQueen, Mary Whitehead, Sonia Whiteman, and then Nathan. We're back in with our mountain biking friend.
Yeah, Brooke Stryker hammering away here, as you can see. So we can jump on in with the rest of the team. We do have plenty of information on the whole team. It's great to see that they were able to provide all of that.
I want to meet Carolyn Odelay. Has she been able to hang in? They are right now. So yeah, this is the tough part of the race here where just the reality, Nathan, of if you can't make the watts right now, we can't really afford to wait. If we've got 4 riders left, you push on from this point on because you're really getting pretty close. You're into the final, coming up on the final 5th of the race.
Jumping in here, though, is this going to be, we've got a Mary Whitehead here, having raced a wide variety of events from mountain bikes to criteriums, now specialized in time trials because because the bikes are cool, she says. Like speed,
She's
it
right.
sounds like here. Just trying to hang on at this point. They may have to let her go because waiting, as you said, is not going to be conducive to the time. But she says she'll be on competing triathlons, but can't swim very well. And her run speed leaves something to be desired. So focused on bike racing exclusively. Prefers distant events.
Well,
The longer, the better.
and she's got a brother who's absolutely awesome who gave her a time trial bike for her birthday present. So that helps too.
To
Getting
think
that
that
kind
they're
of
cool.
support from your
Yeah.
family. That's a cool brother.
Yeah,
That's
for
a
sure.
really cool brother. So yeah, this team's got it going on, man. But you can see that family seems to be one theme that the riders really celebrate, and I love seeing that. Let's take a look at the splits that we've got coming in right now. Some fresh data for us here with the 30. So most of the teams are into the final third now of the 101st WTRL week of racing. Two of the two guys teams up on top there as the Quindines with a 33.28, and they are going to be 18 seconds quicker than two guys de Sonos. Live by Cycling Gold, 33.53 is their time there. So they're sitting as the third fastest squad, but we do have a few teams to come through that we'll be watching for. Vikings Freya slotting in at fifth. RCC Women with a respectable 35.34. We got a real race going on out here. Great job, ladies.
Yeah, really good
Hard
race
work
happening
here on
here.
Knoxville.
Johansson, Whiteman, all just trying to hold it together. I do think that there's a lot of communication actually going on between this team because they are keeping it together. It
Oh,
does look like they're just allowing Brooke to try and come back. She's up and out of the saddle here. It's only a few 1 second up, about to grab the draft. I'm not sure they're gonna wait for Mary though at this point, but Brooke is gonna get back on terms, and they will be 5 strong to the finish line, it looks like here. Will they be able to hold on to that top time still through the 18K mark? They just came over the 18K mark. In just a moment, we should get an update. It does look like we have a dropout, though, here. McQueen, it
oh,
looks like maybe off the back here, or is she waiting up? Not sure. Done, it looks like, from a
oh no.
dropout, 3.9 watts per kilogram. Looks like some communication happening through Discord to let everybody know I've had a dropout. She's going to have to pedal up and maybe get back in with Mary Whitehead
She's a
here.
fighter.
But Whiteman, 11 seconds. They can't wait at this point, though. There's no way. You can see the
That's
communications now coming through between all the ladies. They're all chattered a little bit here. 4 strong to the line.
well, they realize that they're going to have to soldier on, losing a real talented rider there, McQueen. That's a tough break now. So this is going to be Sonia Whiteman. That what a story Sonia is. She's a mom as well, 2 kids. She's Czech, but has lived in Switzerland, Australia, France, and is now residing in the United Kingdom. She's a legend. Has climbed Mount Ventoux, so has done a lot of in real life cycling, and has become a monster on Zwift. Also, unlike many of our riders, is a solid runner as well. Even done a double marathon in her career in under 12
McQueen
hours.
getting back on terms here. The
She
battle to
back?
make it happen here.
Oh,
191 beats per minute, though. I mean, absolute suffering to
hero
make it
status.
happen. Absolutely hero
Well,
status. Great to see from her.
yeah, this is Emily McQueen that we're talking about there. Little bit of a hiccup with the technology there, Nathan. That she is all the heart of a lion when you talk about McQueen, because almost every other rider I've seen would have said, "Well, that's that," thrown in the towel. Not Emily. Sounds like you're in room with comms there with one of our riders.
I was trying to see if I could pull a little comms there. All I heard was some trainers coming
Oh
on
man,
through. I was gonna see if I could hear them communicating for a moment there, but it looks like it's nothing but trainers coming through at the moment, which is fine. I mean, that's the reality of most of these rooms is a whole lot of noise from
they're
the
so deep
efforts
in the
that are
pain
going on.
cave. Yeah. I mean, you can only imagine. Emily, did you say her heart rate was 192 there? I mean, imagine the effort that she is making. That's incredible. This looks like a Z-Sun rider that has left their team after doing a lot of work, because at that point here, they're almost done with the climbing. And then it's just bombing that downhill to the finish line. 24.3K of racing out here. But really, once you get through, they got one last kicker, if you're talking about from the perspective of the Fearless team, to get over. So Z-Sun Quasar flying today, 32.19, the fastest time. That's going to be only 9 seconds quicker than Tuzad, the Quindine team. Fearsome in with the 32.33, Nathan. There you go. Our Fearsome ladies are really holding their own today.
Great job by them. They're going to have to hold on, though, because the Quasars are ahead of them by just a tad. We're going to jump in at the end of the race here with the WRT team real quickly here to see how they pull off that 27:06. They've done it again. I thought maybe the Choppers would be able to challenge, but it looks like Emmy Colleen was not only able to lead them over the top, but is going to lead them to the finish line as well, as they have again shown us why they are the queens of the team time trial, who can take them out in the WTRL. And this is also looking forward to the reality of ZRL Season 3, I think, as a lot of this team does ride for the Hino team as well. So going to be interesting to see how that ends up playing out.
Just about everybody left is Hino, right? Or 3 of the 4. So, well, it wasn't their best performance, actually, as far as that's how good they are, right, Nathan? Even on a day that you wouldn't call their best day, they're still untouchable.
2020 are holding down until we do get the official results in from the zones so far. So they did have the best, even
Those
amongst the platinum so far.
Pops.
Yeah, interesting to see with the cake pops
bad.
coming out of zone 4 as well. But I have a feeling WRT are going to be smashing things out here today. We'll jump back in with the Viennas here in our features teams and see how things play out with them. Again, a new thing amongst us here today and for weeks going forward. Be on the watch out for the bottom of your emails if you do get an invite to the Platinum League for the features. We do want to highlight all of the powering that is going on behind the avatars. Hear all about the in real life efforts that are being made to be a part of the cycling community in Zwift and in real life, as well as how it all happens with life. There's just reality. There's plenty that goes into trying to cycle competitively from your home and fit it into the reality of everything else that we've got to do. So I'm loving to hear all these stories, including Whiteman's, McQueen's, and Johansson's here, who's coming out of Norway, leading things away here. It looks like they're going to try and mold this back together, but it's pretty separated here at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a little concerned, to tell you the truth, because it just looks like they've been disrupted somewhat here, and they can't afford to play around. Team coming back together right now. Again, that's a rider from another team, Lions, there, that this is not ideal here. Actually, yeah, so right now you've got the team is split. They're catching a rider who's come off another team who's still working hard enough. I think it's a little bit on that rider to sit up, which she looks like she's doing now. Good job. Yeah, you don't want to participate in taking pulls there. And she
did. Going to be Sils Johansson here, hammering away. She's actually a Norwegian psychologist. She's a power lifter gone road cyclist, mostly due to COVID. Loves long taxing climbs and love the competitiveness of the awesome TTT. So it sounds like a crossover into the competitive online world of cycling, specifically from the reality of COVID. And now it looks like hooked on the TTT, which is pretty cool to see.
You had me at Norwegian psychologist. Right? You're like, well, that's interesting right there. I want to know more. So that was Johansson that we're looking at. So let's see what we've got. Obviously they're about a K from the finish right now.
Yeah, we're back in with Stryker now, and she's got to get back on terms immediately. Unless she's trying to mold things back together, that'd be the question. But you can see up and out of the saddle, trying to get by Lions, most likely. Not getting, doesn't want to sit on the draft. Elliott and Whitehead have been dropped off at this point. So it's just going to be about Stryker getting to the line with the rest of her team.
So they're back together as 4. At this point now, I see the problem becomes the communications and riders. The Lions here, the Z-Sun rider, it would be best off if we could just get her to slide off the back of this group. It's just what happens here is it just takes the riders off their game, Nathan, when you're talking about fearless. I don't think Lions is doing this with any ill intent. It's just she's continuing to race hard and is going just about the same. Now the team should be able to get the separation they're looking for. I hope that's the case. Here is Brooke Stryker now. It's obviously the team is all gassed at this point. It's been a tough run now over the last 41 minutes of racing. They're down to just a few hundred meters to go now. The agony and the ecstasy.
hammering away. One last pull to the line, it looks like here coming from Whiteman, 3.1 watts per kilogram. Now backing off, going to let Johansson come on through. McQueen now trying to get back on terms. It's going to be Brooke here. She's going to need to close down that 2 seconds. That could be the difference here at this point. What are we looking at in the difference at the last split? It was 32-19. Can they make it happen? A little bit of shake of the head here coming from Sonia as Brooke tries to get back on terms with the team. She's going to sprint it into the line, it looks like here, Brooke Stryker for Team Fearless. She comes across over the top of lines. Now sprint to the line. McQueen, Johansson, Whiteman, Stryker, all aligned. This is Team Fearless.
Yes, so I think Quasar has done enough to hold them off. As Fearsome, though, a solid set. We'll see when all the dust settles out here, but they're now done and dusted out here in London. It's the Greater London 8 featured as today's course, 24, a little over 24 kilometers of racing, significant climb along the way, as we'll start bringing home all of our teams at this point.
Absolutely loving it. Great job out there by the ladies, and really, really appreciate all of the information as well as the live cams provided across the board. Today, we were able to feature CryoDD Vultures, which was really great to see, as well as Innovation Euro Aliens. And then we did see just now, it was great to see Sonia Whiteman, Brooke, and the rest of the team there from Fearsome in the Viennas. We'll get the results up here for the men here in just a moment. The women will be crawling across the line in just a moment as well, Dave. But again, Dave, great to see the new feature out here today with all these community teams. I'm really liking how, we're able to really see what's powering behind these avatars.
Yeah, it really is great getting to know the racers and cheering them on. It makes it so much more impactful when you're watching to have riders that you're engaged with. So keep it up, everybody. It's worth the effort for sure. And it's amazing how 101 races as far as WTRL consecutive weeks, and it seems like we're just now starting to crack the code on this element of it, and I love it. So keep up the good work.
Go ahead and jump on in with the results out here. For the men's side of things, Dave, why don't you take it away? This was the battle we saw live playing out right in front of us.
I love it. The anticipation. Oh my goodness. It was less than 5 seconds, as you can see. Congratulations, INC Euro Aliens taking a massive win today here in the Premier League. The top 3 times today so far coming out of the Premier League. Our friends, the Vultures, who we got to know better today, well, silver medal, and they'll be back. Cryo RDT Vultures, what a battle that one was. You can see our top 3 teams. So the podium there, Z-Sun R, the Red Giants, they take a bronze medal. That was well earned, as they were within 13 seconds of our winning time. Look how close this was. 4th place, the chocolate medal for our friends at Beast Mode, presented by Rose. They're in at 4th here in the Doppio category. 20 seconds back. Inside of that was the BL13 Bullets. It's Kirkmeyer, Espresso 1 in 6th today. Evo Warriors for 7th. On the Rivet Blur in 8th. No Pins R3RE Racing Team. They're in 9th. And then Vision rounding out our top 10 fastest times up till this moment, as there will be more teams heading out on course later today as we make our way around the globe. But that gives you a good look and living up to it for Platinum League there. You can see our top 3 teams all just raced.
Interesting to see real quickly, BL13 Bullets as well as the Beast Mode coming out of Zone 5. Watch out, Beast Mode, I think.
They'll be here next week.
They're getting warmed up. They're getting warmed up, that's for sure. So good to see from them. And hopefully jumping into our Platinum, get some features out there. In the Espressos, it is going to be Rowan King Lions with the 32-44 in Zone 7. Just updated, it looks like. So able to grab that top spot. Wow. Evo Espresso coming on through in the Platinum leg in 2nd place. Down in Dirty Vipers there in 3rd. Dirt Diggler in 4th, followed up by Jex in 5th. It's going to be the Ram Raiders out of Zone 4 in 6th. It's going to be Innovation Alien Specs in 7th, followed up Verto Slow, Big Strong Guys in 8th. Chevy Chasers in 9th, and then the TSZ Waffles in 10th. I'm seeing TSZ all over the place. That is a new team name to me. I'm liking it. It seems like it's all breakfast food, if I'm not incorrect. Interesting enough to see. So
good theme to work through. It's
What's right along with the coffee classes there, Dave? They're just trying to have some food with their coffee.
They know what they're doing. It was only a few months ago that we hadn't ever heard of beast mode, right? And now it feels like they're old friends. Things move quickly out here. Accelerated fun ratio as we've got garage pain racers with a quick 34.22 to set the standard today. That's the gold standard, folks, in Frappe for the GPC. The garage pain chasers, congratulations. It's the Cops with the Z taking the silver medal. 34.27 their time, but you see how close this is? Unbelievable, and especially here between third and fourth. So the last step on the podium was taken by Cryogen Ravens. Way to go, Cryogen, again. Loving what Cryogen's all about. But they do this one, Nathan, by 17/100ths of a second, a blink of an eye, after 24.4K today over Eat Dirt.
I love it. I love that.
Game.
So good. So good.
Your day will come, our friends at Eat Dirt. Look at all the dirt here. Dirt Time Dad's Indoors Riding Trainers, and you got Dirt Time Chasers Terrace. Just another second back, not even. And then another second behind them. Oh my goodness. Dirt Time Chasers BC in sixth. That right there is 24 riders, Nathan, spread out across 3 different teams that all rode within 2 seconds of each other over 24K. That is mind-blowing if you think about what are the chances that happens. So, stunning. Vikings Fenrir in 7th with a 34.44. You're going to look at 8th place to Vikings Jomengandr with so respectable out here. This is the closest I've ever seen our top 10 times, Nathan. Because you're only when you look at Evo Vortex 1, congratulations at 9th. Team CLS, the B-52s, only 35 seconds back for 10th. And again, 8 of these teams were in Premier League.
Yeah, absolutely loving it. This is, and it's less, I mean, it's, what is it, 40, like you said, 35 seconds from top to bottom there. Amazing to see.
That's
and this
a great
goes to
league,
show
man.
What a great league, great class, great the reality of the competition that's going on worldwide. And if you were to put the representation of the country flags on screen right now, think about that as well.
Blow your mind.
It blows your mind. The network of people that are battling it out for those 35 seconds right there. Amazing job to the Frappe crew. Great to see out there. Now jumping on in with the lattes. Go ahead, Dave.
Over 100 nations. Over 100 nations will be represented on any given week.
Amazing. Speaking Vikings out here, the Valhalla. That nation hammering away here. I think they're coming out of Norway. If I'm not incorrect, they're gonna correct me though. Right? What? No. They're gonna be on me about that. Encourage me for
Swedes,
second.
The Swedes coming at you, putting you on blast.
I'm just gonna say they're out of Iceland just to throw it at them. No, Vikings Mo, they're coming on through for the third. DSZ Rocky Road. No, what? That's not breakfast. That's ice cream. What's going on here? I don't know. I think it's all foods is what's going to be like.
Is it
going to be? It's going to be like sweet foods though, because waffles and syrup maybe. Rocky Road. Anyways, 4th place. The Stroge coming on through for 5th. It's going to be Valhalla Jalahorn for 6th. TFC Hornets in 7th. Cryogen Piwakawakas. They did that to us on purpose there. Whatever. I have no idea what kind of bird that is, to be honest. Do you know that bird? He's Googling it right now. The Destroyer Cookies take 9th, and it's going to be you guys not
It certainly sounds like it's from New Zealand. That's for sure. That's funny. You learn something new every week here on WTRL.
Yeah, you do. And now on over to the Mochas, Dave, as it's going to be our Black Rhinos at the top.
It's funny. I have a feeling you were reading that note from Martin as well about the start delays. So
we'll hit that at the end of the broadcast.
Because this is a really sophisticated level of racing. So we do have some important information just about the process of racing here. We'll get to that at the end. RR Black Rhinos. Hey, way to go! That's a name that we know and love here in WTRL. The Mocha class we're talking about. It was a 41.55 that was good as gold. 42.01, so close. Again, another race, Nathan, within a handful of seconds. This is one of the most competitive days that we've seen in the history of the WTRL, and it is SERPK. I thought I almost said Kanye for a second there. For the silver medal, TT1, that's team type 1, A1Cs. That's a good number to have low. They were only 22 seconds back there in third place today. Way to go. CSUNR Nebula in fourth, TFC Hurricane in fifth, TBR Renegades in sixth, Eat Dirt Trois in seventh, Valhalla Dragvandil in eighth, ZSUNR Ceres in ninth, and then this is our Mochas, rounding out your top tens. We start with Rhinos, we'll bookend it with Rhinos. It's the RR Sumatran Rhinos in 10th. Thanks to all our racers out there.
They got good coffee.
Great job, everyone.
Those Rhinos got good coffee.
Sumatra.
Sumatra.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and jump on in with the reloaded page. There it is. And they pulled it off, but it was 2020 holding on. Amazing. I thought that time was fast, and it was. But it is Sox Watts again showing us exactly who they are. The queens of the Team Time Trial with the 35-14. First time out on the Greater London 8. And they smash a new record and take down the day. There's still plenty of racing to go, but they usually do not get unseated throughout the day. But 2020 obviously practicing up for ZRL Season 3 and getting into TTT mode. They jump on out here. We'll see what they're able to pull off.
Sign.
You know, it is, because I think at the second half of ZRL Season 2, they were kind of struggling a little bit. And I have a feeling they're going, okay, put something together here. I'd be interested to see what that team was made up of too, Dave. I think we have to carry that into some talking points going forward.
Yeah, that'll be some research to do after the race to see exactly who were those riders. But again, wow, that is extremely cool. And take a look at this too, Nathan. Credit where it's due. The cake pops are now going to be a fun part of the conversation.
What is going on? Who is TSC? What is this team? Like, out of nowhere, they just show up and take a podium in Vienna Espresso?
Awesome. Yeah. They're in zone 4 today. This is really what we wanted to see. It's almost like right now WTRL is one of those snow globes. We've just shaken the whole thing up. We've got it resetting.
They're an SC team. Yes. It's SC. It's their so Swedish Swift Racers.
Swifters.
They've renamed themselves to some of these cinnamon rolls, cake pops, etc. So cool to see. Loving it. I'm picking up on it now. I'm seeing what they're throwing down. The choppers come on through. They were not able to slice through the cake of that SC cake pop there. They have to take fourth. Looks like R3R Luna Chicks in fifth. C-Stars raced like a girl in an unfamiliar sixth. Missing Catherine Curry, the absolute engine, maybe. That might be that. And maybe see them back for next week for the PL, obviously. But maybe looking to reorder things to try and take down a podium again. TFC Vixen for 7th. Clarity T Renz in 8th. BRT Tom McKinn's in 9th, and Sox Watts Aero Unicorns in 10th.
I'm so excited about this group of races. You know, Nathan, I was thinking Catherine Curie, it's good that she takes a break. She's been racing so much, right? We've got to reload for Season 3 of ZRL. She was a 2-time winner there as an individual, part of the Sisu team. So well-deserved week off. We see 2024 is reorganizing and coming back, all guns a-blazing. Let's take a look at what happened in Vienna Frappe. As there's a recognizable team, BLZR with the 37-22. That's going to be good for the win. Sunrise Racing Team 2 in for the silver medal today. Only 31 seconds back, and then 42 seconds back is Army Cycling. They end up on the podium to collect a bronze medal. Vikings Valkyrie for 4th. Sox for Watts, Odd Sox in 5th. TFC Eclipse in 6th. It's the Alienettes from INC in 7th. 8th is Crush Pod, who also do a great job with their posters. Nice work, ladies. Crush Pod in 8th. WTRL, What's Up 2 in 9th. And then Sox for Watts, Rainbow Wings. That's your top 10. A lot of those teams were Platinum League, but BLZR Racing, I can't believe Zone 9 is already done. Zone 8 and 9 have got finishing times up there. As you can see, BLZR was actually not racing in this batch that we broadcast here, but next week, if they want to be, they will.
Yeah, watch out for BLZR, taking it down by over 30 seconds. Sasquatch Wadnots, Vienna Latte, there 40-32. Crush Pod 240-58. Herfoot Triathlon Club Strong, 41-21. Angular Velocity coming on through for 4th with a 41-29. Wow! Only looking at 0.5 of a second between them and the Cycle House for 5th and 4th. Greenwich Triton's ladies there, 41.38. It's going to be TSZ Sticky Buns coming on through for 7th place with the 41.42. Going to be Z-Sun Burson in 8th with 41.45. RWBSH 41.53 in 9th. And Two Guys Brisa is coming on through for 10th. And to our featured team, did Fearsome pull it off? Here is your questions answered.
Well, there it is. They have Z-Sun R Quasar on the top. That's an outstanding ride for a 41.19. They'll collect the gold in the platinum. NCTC, the mares, end up with the silver medal, and our friends from Fearsome, more than respectable. Ladies, that was a blast. Thanks for coming on board with us today at Zwift Community Live. Good job to all of you, and that's a bronze medal today for Fearsome. Two guys, the Quindens in 4th, Hereford Triathlon Club Bull in 5th, Live by Cycling Gold in 6th. Socks for Watch, the Triceratops in 7th. Two guys, Sonos in 8th, Angular Momentum for 9th, and then Vikings Freya round out our top 10. That's the Vienna category that we get a good look at. Very challenging, fun course to race on today. Greater London 8. Looks like, Nathan, you've already found where we're racing next week.
Is that right? Are we? I'm just going to make sure. Watopia, I'm seeing. Out and back again. No, that is not right. I got a message right away. No, that is not right. So we're just going to leave that alone. Yep. I'm just going to leave that alone. So thanks, though, everybody. Martin, I appreciate you letting us know. Now, a quick little announcement, everybody, as we definitely have something new to chat about. We are super excited to say that we are within milliseconds of accuracy on data now at this point with WTRL. But what that does mean is that you need to follow your start delays exactly as best as you possibly can. It will be tracked very closely now at this point. If you leave early, there will be penalties at this point. Teams leaving early will have a time left early rounded to the nearest minute and a further minute added to that as a penalty. They will be marked at this point. There'll be a little clock symbol next to your result rather than like some sort of like warning arrow or something along those lines. Instead, there'll be a little clock, and it's going to be automated to make that happen, it sounds like. So just be on the watch out, everybody. You got to leave at the correct time. The data, we're absolutely giddy at this point that we've got all kinds of new stuff coming down the lines because we're within that extreme accuracy now. But extreme accuracy also means now at this point there's no fudging anything. And so just make sure that you are leaving at the correct start delays. And the corrections are no longer going to be out there anymore. If you start late, you start early. Remember what happened, what we saw with, I believe it was Team 2020 in the Premier Division, Dave? They left accidentally a minute early or a minute late, something like that. There was a little bit of mix up with the communications. Communications and teams, having a good captain that knows when to go and good communication between everybody about how to go and everybody following orders. That's a part of a team as well, right? Whether or not you got good directions, Dave.
Oh, yeah. Listen, so there's a lot of responsibility with racing in the WTRL, and I understand that. You really have to pay attention. You have to be organized, and that's part of why this is so special. Not anybody can just show up and do this. You really get out what you put in, and you all want accurate results, and you want things to happen quickly. Well, your end of the deal is following the rules, and it's absolutely a relationship between the racers and the organizers, and you guys are doing a great job. So let's focus. We'll redouble our efforts on getting everybody. Sometimes look, on your team, you're going to have some riders that this is their strength and other riders that it's not their strength. So help each other out here as well, because you all benefit greatly by being able to stay on point. And listen, you guys work so hard for every darn second out there. I hate to hear about a time getting rounded up to the next minute after all the work that you've done. You don't want to don't let that be you. Don't be that guy.
100%. So wait till the last second that you can start pedaling, and get across that line in the right time. Go ahead, Dave.
Nathan, really quick, I heard you talking about this on Zwiftcast. Can you help people really quickly? There's some new features in game that make it even easier to be able to warm up, stay chill, jump into your game at the right time, right? Hasn't
Yeah,
it even
well, I
gotten
mean, it
better?
might get a little more competitive now at this point too, because like if I let everybody know, but if you didn't
Knows the trick,
know,
yeah.
there's the reality that with a half hour to go, you can enter your pens and you get a front row seat. So it's similar to if I go to a mass start race like Schwamagon for mountain bike or to shore. Or ice. Well, Iceman, we line up in waves that are a lot smaller.
But
But
you
like
want to
Or to
be on the
shores,
front,
you want to be on
right?
the front. So I show up with my
Yep.
bike and I put it there, and I have my road bike on a trainer down the road, and I go and I warm up on my bike on the trainer. But here you can actually set your bike by entering the pens early. That half hour mark, enter the pens early. You can set it right at the front, and then you can actually leave, and that'll hold your spot for you. So you can exit now that
You can go and ride around
you
in
can go and
another
ride around. And
world and
now
then
the new
come back.
feature with Zwift that's pretty cool is that you also have the ability to not exit the game. And so you can just push back to the main screen and go ride some other world until you want to go back into the pens. So, and it should warn
This
you, I'm
segment,
pretty sure. Now, that's the one thing I'm not sure about is that with that addition, does that warning pop up again after you go back into the? I haven't tested that actually.
we'll
So
have
the
to
warning
check.
of join your event,
Right.
you have to check actually. But otherwise, you have to exit the game and it'll refresh that and it'll tell you that come and join your event again. But that is one way
Just
to
like
do
they
it. But
always say, never try a new race food or new technology on your bike on
on the
race day.
on
This is
race
stuff you
day.
do this is stuff you do before, so don't wait until next week's WTRL to see if Nathan is correct or not. We'll figure that out beforehand, but I would definitely say this is an upside for joining us here on Zwift Community Live is that we get to pick Nathan's brain and get this kind of
Well,
information. So
also
this is our pro tip.
there's also I raced the Kiss 100 this weekend on the Innsbruck course. We did 4 laps of the Innsbruck short over the top of the KOM, and the new drafting AI. Go practice. Go practice. 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 It is very different. From my experience, it was very interesting, especially on climbs. It was very different about figuring out where the avatars go, where, how, and why. I found myself swapping between first person point of view for certain sections and certain times with certain people, and then third person point of view for certain sections, certain times, because who's fighting you for a wheel, it really matters now. And knowing whether or not you're fighting the person who's in front of you or not for a wheel, it can slingshot everybody out of control. So just be aware of that as well, everybody. Next week, I got word just now. It's the Watopia Waistband. Watopia Waistband, everybody. So make sure to start signing up for that. We close signups at 7 p.m. UK time, 1 p.m. Central time next week, Wednesday. And that's going to be it for us here for this week. And we'll see everybody next week. I'm Nathan Guerra, Dave Towle, as always. Great job to all the riders. Check out WTRL.racing for all the results. And as always, ride on.